Your money is valuable, and you've probably already figured out by now that for buying a house, you could either put 3% down or 5% down as your lowest options. Sure, you would love to have 20% down, who wouldn't? But let's face it, it's hard to come up with 20%. I certainly didn't save up 20% for any of my houses. Now, clearly, 5% is going to give you a lower loan balance, but no one's ever really talked about what's the key differences between 3% and 5%. And I'm just talking loan balance. I'm talking monthly payment, interest rate, closing costs, just a general picture of what the true difference is. And today we're going to talk about if it's really worth putting that extra 2% for you in your next home purchase. Whether you're buying in this market or maybe down the road in the future where you're saving for, you've already probably narrowed down that your best option for a loan is going to be a conventional loan. And for those that don't know, a conventional loan can be either 3%, 5%, 10% or 20% down. You can have any of these factors. So clearly 3% down and 5% down, a conventional loan is the favorite for a lot of first-time home buyers. Now, I'm pretty sure the market's going to stay brutal for the next foreseeable future. So even if you're planning to buy down the road, I will tell you, as someone who's in the front lines, every dollar counts. Those buyers who have their down payment solid and on top of that, the closing cost solid are in the much more favorable position than every other buyer. So literally every penny counts when you're starting to save for your down payment and closing costs and everything. So what I have for you guys today are two very solid pre-approval letters that are actual factual, that's cool, where they actually had to pull my credit and do all the works for me, okay? Now, I'm not gonna go buy a house with these. Obviously, this is just for educational purposes, but I really wanted to show you guys what an actual buyer would see right now if they got pre-approved. Your lender, by the way, when you get pre-approved, should be able to get these scenarios for you. A lot of times the lender just starts, get your credit pulled and they say, oh yes, FHA, here you go, here's your FHA pre-approval. And you're just like, well, can you give me different options? What if I go conventional? What if I go down payment assistance? What if I come up with an extra 2 points? So whenever you get your credit pulled by your lender, please let them give you multiple options. And even though there's a clear winner, you want to be able to look at your options so you can see what they are, so you're in control of what's going on. So in this case, I'm pretending to be a $300,000 buyer. I know Californians, that's a low price range. You can leave your comments below. No one's telling you to live in California. Get out of there. One's going to be 3% down conventional. The other is going to be 5% down conventional. It's going to be based off someone with a credit score in the low to mid 700 range. Now you may be thinking, well, clearly Javier, 5% down is better than 3% down. Why the F are you talking about this? Well, $6,000 right now in your pocket is a lot of money, okay? That's like 2, 3, 4 payments that's going to be left in your pocket. That's money for you to maybe do some renovations to your property. That might be some money to just put away and just have it just in case of an emergency. But more importantly, right now with this insane market, that's the closing cost right there, baby. I don't know why I'm saying baby, I'm sorry. At least here in Arizona, that's basically the majority of the closing costs. So literally the difference between 3 and 5% is with one, you'll be able to pay your closing costs and the other, you'll not be able to. So yes, of course, everybody would love to have 5% down, but not everybody can have extra money to just put down for things. Sometimes people have to really think things out. So without further ado, let's look at the numbers. Let's start off with 3% down, shall we? So with 3% down, I need to come up with $9,000. My interest rate right now will be about 3.25%. My APR is 3.836 for a 30-year term. And estimating taxes and insurance and mortgage insurance, my monthly payment is going to be about $1,739.85. And of course, my cash to close, which would be my down payment plus my closing costs if I were to pay everything, would be $1,673.61. Now let's look at $300,000. Let's get my head out of there. There you go. Perfect. Now we can see it together. With 5% down, the loan amount obviously goes down to $285. Your interest rate then becomes 2.99. So that saves you, what is that, like 0.2, 0.3% interest rate. Your APR drops significantly to 3.375. Your monthly payment goes down to $1,604.92. And of course, your cash to close is roughly about $6,000 more, $22,142.35. 35 cents really matters. So essentially with the 5% and 3%, you're going to save about $134.93 a month. Or in other words, you're literally paying $134.93 more with 3% down rather than 5% down. So the question then becomes, how long would it take living with the 3% down program for you to kind of even out with those $6,000 that you would have put down? If we start off with $6,000, which is going to be the difference between 3% and 5%, and we divide that with $134.93, you get 44.46. It would take you 44.5 if we round it up, so let's just round it up, months for you to actually make up the $6,000 that you would save. So to make it even more easier, we divide that by 12, roughly 3.7 years for you to make up that difference to $6,000. And now let's talk about what it looks like 4 years later down the road. We're gonna go to amortization-calc.com, which, like I said, you go to Google, you look up amortization calculator, and it's like one of the first ones that pop up. And we're gonna put this same scenario. So what I wanna do is I wanna see after 4 years of owning this house, which, you know, we said 3.7, so let's just say 4 years around there, what's the difference here total of interest rate and how much I'm gonna owe on it? So the 3% one first, so 291 over 30 years, and I think my interest rate was what? 3.25. We calculate it, and this is going to be our 3%. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up a separate tab, this time put 15,000, so it'll be 5% down, and put the lower rate, which I think it was what, 2.99, I believe. We're going to calculate that now. Now we have both options. There we have it. So you're going to notice that the monthly payment seems less here. That's because this is just using the principal and the interest. If you don't know, your monthly payment includes multiple factors, including home insurance, taxes, insurance, and all that stuff. This is just looking at principal and interest. But why we're looking at the amortization calculator is we're going to try to see how much we owe and how much interest we've paid within 4 years. So let's say, you know, we found out 3.7 is that number where we break even. So let's say 4 years. 4 years would be what, 2024 would be what? So with 3% down, we're going to owe about 265 on your balance. And with 5% down, we're going to owe 259. 265, 972, 259, 501, $6,471. So for your initial investment of an additional $6,000, you made your $6,000 back and you made an additional $471. I think that's what the PS5 is going to be worth, I believe. So, I mean, good for you. You made an additional $471. So you're probably thinking, Javier, are you telling me for putting an additional $6,000, the only thing I did was make $471? Well, not necessarily. Let me explain. Let's just say there's two versions of you, okay? Version 1 has like blonde hair, looks good. They only put 3% down, okay? And then version 2 of yourself is like a brunette and, you know, a lot more buffer. Put 5% down. Yes, in theory, when it's time to sell down the road, version 2, the buff one, would make an additional $6,471 when it's all said and done, like the net. So they basically made back those $6,000 they put plus another $471. But what you're forgetting here is that the second version, version B of yourself, the buff one, actually spent less for their mortgage payments over the 4 years. Remember, version 1 of yourself is paying $134.93 more because they decided to spend less. So let's put that number. And I think we figured out that 3.7 was the exact number to meet 7. But let's just say after 4 years, would it be what, like 48 months? So let's multiply that by 48. The first version, the blonde person, I don't know why you dyed it blonde. You should have stuck it brunette. Paid $6,476 more towards their payment. On the other side, the second version of yourself, the buff one, paid $6,476.64 less in their pocket that they saved. Now, you didn't really feel it because you only feel $134 at a time, but when it's all said and done, in theory, you actually saved an additional $6,400. So in essence, you've doubled your money. Not only are you going to net $6,400 more than the other version of yourself that only put 3% down, but over the span of 4 years, let's just say you saved that extra $134, you put it in a bank account, you're going to have an additional $6,400 on the side. So you doubled your money. You have $12,000 and $800, whatever the number is, more than version number 1. Hey guys, so I had this crazy thought while I was editing. What if I were to put that extra $134 towards a principal every month and I still put 5% down. So I found this amortization calculator online called bankrate.com. If you want to check it out, what I like about it is you can actually adjust the extra payments here, so you can kind of figure it out. Normally, our estimated payoff date would have been September 10th, 2050, and our total interest paid would have been $142,000. So if I were to apply the $134 towards the principal every single month, our new payoff date becomes March 10th, 2046. And our interest goes down, total interest paid, to $118,000. What's also crazy is if you go to September 2024, which is the month that we were using in our video, your balance is going to be $252,853.42 after 4 years. Now, if you remember, our number for 5% down after 4 years with no extra payment was $259,501. And if we find the difference between these two numbers, we get $6,647, which is only about $200-ish more than if we would have just put our money aside in a savings account. So my opinion is it's not worth putting it towards an extra payment per month if you're only going to be there short term. However, long term, if you're here for the long run, 100% is worth to put extra money down, because not only do you pay less interest, you pay off your house a lot sooner. So anyways, just in case you guys were wondering, there it is. Now, this is only 4 years in. Clearly, you know, if you lived in the house more than 4 years, you get to reap the benefit even more and more. And on top of that, I mean, very clear as day, after 30 years with 3% down, you pay $164,000 of interest because you have a higher interest than the 5% version, which you pay $147,000 after 30 years. Actually, here you can see over 15 years, you see that with 3%, you pay $139,000. And with 5%, you put $118,000. So after 15 years, you save about $21,000. Clearly, it's better to put 5% down. Not only do you get just a little bit more money when it's all said and done, but the money you save per month adds up over time. But it's also worth noting this. Let's say you only have 5% down. Let's say you only have $15,000 in the bank right now. And you watch this video and you go, well, Javier, I want to put 5% down. I don't recommend you buy a house and be left with no reserves whatsoever. Even though clearly it's going to save you money long term and et cetera and whatever, I would still rather have you hold some of that money and have it just in case. I'm a pessimist when it comes to my finances. I always expect the worst. I always think I'm going to be in an accident, or I always think that something horrible is going to happen to me. So I always plan for the worst. And as terrible and anxiety driven is it's always good to have a backup plan. So I would hate for you to use entire money just to save money down the road when you get left with nothing, and God forbid there's an emergency or something even more drastic. That's going to leave you in a really bad position. So my answer to the question of the video is 100%. 5% down is clearly better if you're going to live in the house for more, at least 4 or 5 years. However, if 5% down is going to leave you with no money on the table, go 3%, keep the extra 2% for savings. Or if you need to get your closing costs paid, go 3%, use the 2% for the closing costs, and try to have a separate savings, 3, 6, 9 months reserves, whatever is comfortable for you before you buy a house. Well, if you're shopping around for a mortgage now and you want to learn how to use an amortization schedule and figure out what kind of deal you're getting, I actually made a video here where you can actually figure it out and learn how to use a calculator. That way you can be a little more savvy financially. So thank you guys so much. See you in the next video.